talking about house hunting. You've decided you want to find a house. Awesome. That's a big step in and of itself. The question is, what kind of a house do you want? What do I mean by that? There's all different kinds of houses out there. There are condominiums, for example, and there are single-family houses. How do you figure out if you want a condo or a single-family house? First of all, what is a condo? You may or may not know a condo is commonly a building where the association actually owns the outside of the building and any pools or amenities that are attached. You as the owner would actually own from the sheetrock in, as we call it. What that means is it's got a couple of advantages. One, you don't need to worry about outside maintenance. And if you're talking about a climate such as where we practice, like Florida or Colorado, someplace with extremes, that could be a very good thing because those are often expensive ticket items. Two, it means that what you're going to be doing as an owner is paying for your condominium for the unit, but then you also pay a check, usually quarterly, to the condominium association who takes care of the master insurance, all of the maintenance, taking care of all of those things. Condominium living is truly lock and leave peace of mind. Set it, forget it, you're out the door. Lots of times there's a full-time manager or a property manager on site or a maintenance guy as well. Sometimes if you live in a coastal area like we do, they'll even have people that put up the shutters in the summertime, etc. So the question about a condominium level living is, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about potentially people above you or people below you? How do you feel about a shared wall? It really depends on the building. Just like house design, condominium designs have really evolved over time to really be almost like houses in the sky. What I mean by that is, gone are the old school motel kind of entrance, and then you feel like you're living kind of in a shoebox front to back. Quite often, if it's an interior unit, your light would only be coming from the front and the back. Today's condos are almost more like a house in the sky, where you go up either in a private elevator or a privately keyed elevator. You walk in and the unit separates and goes out just like a house would. Some of them go front to back. So if you're in a coastal environment, that could mean a river on one side and the ocean in the front. But it does come with concessions. That means you're going to be using an elevator all the time. Groceries, deliveries, people above and below. Depending on the time of year, you may have restrictions on when you can do renovations so you're not noisy for your neighbors. Sometimes there's heavy restrictions on pets. Like any purchase, do good due diligence and find out what the rules and regs are to make sure that you can abide by them. And check the finances. Here in the state of Florida, where we practice, you actually get a right of rescission for 72 hours, where you can say, I can't deal with these rules and regs, or I'm worried about their finances, and you can terminate the contract. So do your homework, but that's condominium living. The other option is single family, where you own the land and any improvement on it. That truly is traditional home ownership. Now within that, there's even all kinds of variations. There are some where the HOA will take care of your yard work, and sometimes there is a beach access, things like that. Now, here's my litmus test for you if you want a single family house. How do I know if I want an association or one without an association? Again, how do you feel about paying dues and rules and regulations? Again, take a look at the rules and regs and the finances to make sure they're fiscally sound and you could tolerate the rules and regs. What do I mean by that? We have a running contest here in our office at Daley & Company that talks about, let's see who can come up with the silliest HOA rules. And some of them really are silly. There's all different levels. From reasonable, you can't paint your house purple, no camels in the front yard, to the absurd. Here are two of my favorites. You can have a motorcycle, but you can't turn it on, and you have to roll it out to the front. That's pretty silly. My new personal favorite is a restriction on the number of pumpkins that you can have. How silly is that? Somehow they decided 2 pumpkins are okay, but 3, it's very tacky. So make sure you read your rules and regs and can abide by them. One exception to all of this would be is if you aspire to something with a view. Very often the dollar for dollar price to buy a condominium with a view versus a single family with a view. Let's say ocean, since we're in Vero Beach, Florida, which is a barrier island on the east coast of Florida. If you wanted an ocean product that had house-like spaces and you didn't want to spend $5, $6, $7 million, well, a condominium maybe then is a good alternative. For 1.5 to 2.5, you can get a space that feels like a house in the sky, and you have fabulous views, and it's far more affordable. So those are kinds of the ins and outs about it. Our advice is always pick a broker that has experience in the market of importance to you. Make sure they do business there. They're not just coming up to an area out of familiarity for them because they're your friend. It's too important a decision to make a mistake on. So that's our advice here at Daley & Company. These principles really hold true in Vero Beach, but they're going to hold true wherever you're looking for a property. Good luck in the house hunt. Next week, we're going to talk even more specifically about HOA versus not HOA. How do you decide which is right for you? Have a good week, everybody.